What I do after waking up early is getting into a shower straight away and making it cold straight away. So I have a cold shower straight away. Why? Again, it's kind of like, do I really want to be in the cold shower? No. So that gives me a stack of proof that I can do hard things, because cold showers aren't that enjoyable. But once you do it for a while, you end up enjoying it because you feel great afterwards. Cold exposure increases your dopamine, increases your endorphins, makes you more alert. So it takes you from that state of fatigue and waking up to suddenly you're alert. You're ready for action. So that makes the rest of the day much easier, because if you were just half asleep for half the day, you're not going to get as much done, and you're going to be more likely to just sit in bed and scroll on your phone. So get in the cold shower straight away. Highly recommend it. Studies shown that cold exposure can spike dopamine by 250%. Think about that. High dopamine means you're more likely to hopefully strive after good things. If you have the other habits in place, like going to the gym, if you have more dopamine in the morning, you're going to have a high chance of wanting to do that. You're going to feel more good, more energized. So yeah, cold shower, boom. Do that for 30 seconds to a minute. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be in there for 20. You just want a quick energy boost. And then what I do straight after that, after like drying and like brushing my teeth and stuff, is I get changed and I do something very important. I put my shoes on. This may seem like so trivial. It sounds so trivial. I know it sounds really trivial and simple, but it makes such a difference. Think about it. We've gone to school since the age of 3, right? What do we do when we're in school? What do we do at work versus when we're at home? I've assumed 9 out of 10 people have their shoes off. They're relaxed, right? When you're at school, we've been literally conditioned to wear our shoes. And by wearing our shoes, that habit is so embedded in our school lives and our work lives that we associate wearing shoes indoors with getting work done, with being at work and not relaxing. It's the opposite of relaxing. I discovered that, like I said, when I was on the grind in winter lockdown before I had a massive breakup with my first girlfriend. That was the one thing that helped me focus. I put my shoes on. I started revising. It made me less likely to go on my phone, because I didn't go on my phone during school for 15 years. It made me do the work because I knew when I was in school, I had to do the work. So it just taps into that deep conditioning we've had since we were about 3 years old that equates shoes on indoors with a bit of work in front of you to doing the work rather than scrolling on your phone. It worked for me. Try it yourself. Again, don't beat any of this stuff down until you try it. It's stuff that's worked for me, and it has probably had the biggest effects. Not just the shoe thing, but all the things I've discussed so far. And I feel a necessity to teach you guys and tell you guys about it, because I was an absolute fucking degenerate and felt like shit for a lot of my teenage years. And I know what it's like. I know how it feels. And I went from feeling anxious every day, not being able to make eye contact with people when I walk down the street, to feeling amazing and content and fulfilled in my life every single day. So if you follow these things consistently and form these good habits, that might happen to you as well. So at this point, you've had the cold shower, you've woken up at the same time, you've woken up early, and you've put your shoes on and your clothes on, right? You either fast, so you don't have any breakfast and you just have caffeine like a coffee, or you have a small breakfast with low carbohydrates, low sugars. I've mentioned diet, but not specifics. I'm obviously not a fucking diet expert, but I listen to the experts and I read from the experts. And if you have processed carbohydrates at any time of the day, but especially in the morning, it's the worst in the morning because you've just woken up and you have the rest of the day to get on with stuff. If you have a lot of carbs, it creates a spike in your glucose levels, your blood sugar levels. And then what comes up must come down. A force in one direction causes a force in an equal and opposite force in the other direction. Newton's third law of motion, right? So laws of physics, it goes up, so it has to come down. And what that results in is an energy crash. But also when you have carbs, it just creates brain fog and it can create inflammation in your brain and can concentrate blood flow more to your digestive system, because digestion is a very energy taxing thing for the body to do. So if you have a bunch of like baked beans or fucking cereal or even like loads of bread, and you're not an athlete and you're not running 3 times a day or like training twice a day or spending 5 hours working out, the carbs are just going to make your brain feel so foggy. You're going to feel so heavy. You're going to want to go back in bed and scroll on your phone, right? So if you're going to have breakfast, I recommend having, especially if you're like going to go to the gym, you know, high protein, kind of high fat, maybe some complex carbs, but again, probably wouldn't even have any breakfast. So, tuna, some meat, maybe some eggs. Eggs are really good. Maybe a bit of veg like spinach. I have spinach every day, and it's pretty low calorie and has so many good micronutrients in for you. So if you're going to have breakfast, like have a light one, avoid bread, avoid cereal, avoid just any sugary shit and chocolate and Nutella and stuff, because it's just going to make you feel terrible for the rest of the day. And then after that, obviously you need to hydrate as well, have a bit of salt. And after doing that, I'd either start working on your hobby or well, not hobby, your passion. You start working on your passion straight away. Or what I do is I go to the gym like straight away. I do that and then I walk to the gym. Obviously I'm walking, so that helps with digestion. But even if you drove to the gym, you start the day with a hard thing. You're literally lifting metal off of you. You're resisting. You're like causing micro tears in your muscles. You're socializing. You're getting a bit of sunlight because you've gone outside. You're getting a bit of fresh air. You're pushing yourself to your limits. And then afterwards, you feel great. You feel energized. Navy SEAL and podcast and self-improvement kind of titan Jocko Willink, he says, like, he works out like 4 a.m, but he says if he works out within 1 to 2 hours of waking up, he just feels more energized for the rest of the day. And I completely get that as well. I couldn't recommend working out early in the morning enough. I end up going to the gym most days at like 7 or 8 a.m, and then I'm in there for 1 to 2 hours, and it just makes you feel accomplished. You've done something productive, and it makes you have more proof that you can do another productive thing straight after that. And you get the dopamine and you get the pump after the workout. So you see your progress, you feel good, you feel confident. It's just so, so good to do early in the morning. And studies have shown that morning workouts can actually improve your cognitive function later on in the day. So that's another benefit for going to the gym in the morning. And then I'll have a protein shake. Also, I'll have creatine monohydrate, a supplement that can increase gym performance, weight-related performance in my coffee or my water. Gives you that extra boost when you're pushing heavy stuff. And then I'll have a protein shake afterwards, and I'll either have another light, high-protein meal, so some more eggs maybe, some tuna if I didn't have any in the morning, maybe have some carbs like eggs on toast if I brought bread with me. But again, I've not been doing that for the last week or two, and I felt more energized. Like, I've stopped eating bread, basically. A lot of the time, I would end up napping after the gym, thinking, oh, maybe it's just because I'd not got enough sleep. Naps are super good, like 20-minute nap, 15-minute nap, then a cold shower, like nothing against that, right? But I've stopped eating carbohydrates, like these processed carbs, non-complex carbs that are low in fiber, early in the day or after the gym, and I've not needed to nap. I've not needed to nap for the past 2 weeks from doing that. So, if you're going to have lunch again, then you're not going to continue to fast, maybe have another coffee and then have some high protein meal, even if it's like chicken or something, some steak or beef if you're going to go fancy. But yeah, it'll decrease the chances of you having a crash during the midday, because now you'll get on with the rest of your day. So my next thing I do is spend the rest of the day, if you don't have work, like this is the weekend, or if you're at uni, or if you're on summer holiday and stuff, spend the next part of your day on another non-negotiable. So you've gone to the gym, would be something that energizes you and fulfills you. So we spoke about that passion. Again, if you don't have a passion, you literally have no idea where to start. Maybe you haven't started going to the gym, you don't feel that's your main passion, then go on the link and join the Tribe of Outliers, and me and the tribe can help you figure out your passion for you on live calls and on the chat and stuff. And I can do it to you one-to-one right now because I've literally just created it. So if you're watching this and the video's new, no one's joined, so you can get one-to-one access with me and I can help you find your passion and work on what energizes you, right?